Good morning. So I may start doing like talking while I do the dishes. Since we don't have a dishwasher, we may or may not get one, but we'll see if people like random monologues while I do dishes. And it will help me practice like speaking on camera, I guess. But today I wanted to talk about cognitive distortions. So cognition is thoughts, what we believe, kind of like, cognition is just thoughts, basically. So that's cognitive. Distortions are like, when you're in like one of those funny houses, like clown houses, or like at the fair, and there's all those really weird mirrors, and you're like this big, and then you're this big, and then there's like 30 of you. So distortions are like faulty, like it's distorted, it's wrong, it's inaccurate. So cognitive distortions are part of cognitive behavioral therapy, or just cognitive therapy, which is basically like talking about your thoughts, right? No, are your thoughts accurate? Are they distorted? It's basically cognitive distortions and the talk on that. And if you Google cognitive distortions, there's about I actually have a card deck at work that has about 100 of them, I think. So there's like a ton of cognitive distortions. So I'll go over a few of them. And I do have like a big load of dishes and I'll have to dry them. I like doing dishes in the morning. Some people could judge that because you should go to bed with no dishes, some people say. But I like doing them in the morning, so I do them in the morning. If I don't have an early client. But yeah, my first client's later today, so I'm good. Okay, so cognitive distortions, faulty thinking. So we're going to go through a few of them. There's one that has 3 names. It's black or white thinking, all or nothing thinking, and dichotomous thinking, which is somebody's all bad or all good, or no gray. You made the wrong decision, not why did you make that decision, or all the people that believe this are awful and evil, or all the people that believe that are bad people. It's really kind of like kind of distortions are kind of like shallower thinking, like jumping to conclusions is a huge thing of cognitive distortions, right? So you're like not analyzing or hearing both perspectives or why things happen. You're just like, oh, I know everything, I know the answers. And like people are like, everyone's like narcissistic. I was like, there's traits, but you can't diagnose somebody unless you have the whole, like the DSM-5, and you have to like meet X amount of criteria on this list, and then this list, and has, like we have like a whole parameter to diagnose. So you can say like traits, but okay, so black or white thinking is like dichotomous thinking, all or nothing thinking, very common, and you see it a lot with in politics, religion, low self-esteem, I'm so stupid, like, which is also like overgeneralizing. Like, so you might have one bad experience with one person and describe that person and say everybody that's in that description, you overgeneralize, they're all bad people, because I had one bad experience, which isn't accurate. So overgeneralizing could be, I got a bad grade on a test, so I'm not a good student, right? No, you just got a bad grade on a test. You could still be a good student. So that's overgeneralizing. Discounting the positive. Oh, that's a big one with clients. Oh, I got a bad grade on a test, this test, but the other test I got a good grade in, and they don't even like notice it. Or I'm such a bad person because I didn't let somebody over when I was driving, or I didn't share something, and maybe you just had good boundaries, but like, yeah. So discounting the positives, usually like good things you do, not noticing it, thinking you're not smart or not good enough, and you're discounting all the good things you've done, all the thoughtful things you've done. Discounting the negatives. Oh, he's such a good friend. Yeah, sometimes he talks behind my back, or you see it in domestic violence or unhealthy relationships. They discount the negatives sometimes too, where it's like somebody's really controlling and monitoring, or putting you down or gaslighting you, and you're just kind of like, well, they also like bought me roses. And you're like, buying you roses doesn't mean they can treat you bad. So just kind of negatives is a thing too. The main part of cognitive distortions, though, is also like if you think, I like to talk about suicide prevention. So, it'll never, like, no one's ever felt this way. It'll never get better. And things always change. That's like in the book I wrote, Beware of the Pit of Despair. Countless people feel like nobody understands me. It'll never get better. And things always change. So, just recognizing that, hey, it's very common and normal to feel like you're the only one thinking and feeling that way. So I'm going to try to think of more cognitive distortions. There's so many. Just kind of the positives, the negatives, overgeneralizing. I should have like a list here with them all. Catastrophizing, which is really not fun. That's kind of a lot of anxiety. It's like in your head, you're like, if I do this, this is going to happen, then this is going to happen, then this is going to happen. And you're like, whoa. No tree, the lightning did not hit a tree that fell on your house that like ruined everything, and you're not going to be homeless if you have health insurance, but you catastrophize everything. Oh, I can't do this because it won't work out, or, fortune telling's one of them. Not like, it's in that cognitive thing, it's not a big deal, but, I'll never amount to something, or I won't have fun at that party, or that person will never change, or just trying to like figure out the future when I'm like, we don't know the future. And for somebody who's like, I don't know if you ever took the Myers-Briggs, but like I'm really innovative. I come up with ideas a lot. And I've definitely learned to be detached from results. Because if you think what you're going to do is going to succeed, you could get depressed when it doesn't. But if you think, hey, I'm going to do something and do my best, and be attached to me just doing, like, a really good job, it, like, prevents, like, who cares if it works or doesn't. I mean, it would be nice if things work, but if it doesn't, it's not, like, a bad reflection on my effort, because you can only control you. That's another part of cognitive behavior therapy is, we have, like, circles of things we can control and things outside our control. Some people, it's like a circle of in my control, out of my control. I like it when people fold a page in half and it's like things in my control, things I can't control. I can't control other people's opinions of me. I can't control their behavior. I can't control how the world sees me. I can control, like, well, sometimes people can't control their thoughts because you have like OCD where it's in thoughts or different things. But you can try to improve it at least. Like, those are things you can work on. You can't really work on other people, you can work on yourself. So, like, in your control is you, like, your choices, what you eat. And I guess it depends on age, too, because a lot of people, are younger and can't control where they live. Or what they eat when they can't buy groceries and stuff, like teens and kids and stuff. Somebody is on. Hi. Yeah. So, and I don't know if people can ask questions or not. I don't know. But if you ever have a question. And then another one, it's kind of a lot of our diagnoses are cognitive distortions, but body dysphoria is like a really confusing one. So some people see like imperfections that nobody else sees in their body, like my nose is too big, or my nose is too small, or my eyes are too close together, or like things that like no one else is like, really? But some people like really dwell on them, and I think with AI and the changing the way you look, it's getting worse, which I don't really know how to help that, but it's definitely like people see themselves in a distorted view. I think just being aware that it's like becoming really common might be helpful, but like everybody has a different body size, and beauty is extremely subjective because it changes based on everybody's opinion, and anyone with like really good character, a lot of it's like based on your quality and your own character. You could see somebody that you think could be on like a cover of a magazine, but they're like not nice, no, they're not beautiful. They're really mean people. Being mean's not beautiful. I don't know, but I would say body dysphoria is often like a cognitive distortion on like how you view. My muscles aren't big enough, or they're too, you know. Some people are extremely thin. Like that's like where eating disorders happen often, but they don't see it. Yeah, I'm trying to think of more. Maybe this idea of doing dishes and talking isn't the best, but that's okay. Imperfect. Some people have this like strive for perfectionism, and like it's absolutely fine to be imperfect, and I think we need to normalize that. Like nobody living is perfect. You could go on religious debates on if anyone in history was perfect, but like nobody living is perfect. Yeah, so like it's okay to not be perfect or look perfect. And I think, like, even as a parent, like, apologizing for when I am, like, you know, hungry and angry, it's kind of fun. Like, not fun, but, like, I do like that they came up with hangry. So when we're not perfect, we just apologize. We're like, oh, I was grumpy. Sorry, you know. Because I think kids learning to apologize matters, too. And people getting stuck on other people's opinions or what they should have or could have done. So I work with all ages of clients, and there's people that are stuck on things that happened like before I was born, before like 1980s, right? So they're like, I should have done this, I could have done that, and they get stuck in the past, which is really hard. Because you're kind of like, yes, you want to learn from the past, and you want to like make good decisions for your future, but you really want to be like present and enjoy the moment and make the best of like not having a dishwasher and just, you know, which is totally fine, kind of. Today it is. Yeah, but like should have, could have, would have is a big issue. And a lot of people, so that's like shoulding, or people should do this. So it could be past tense or future tense. What they should have called, and you're like, you can call too. Like, you don't have to, you know, did I have a question? Getting text. Uh-oh. Somebody wants one of Benny's friends wants a play date, I think, which is fun. I don't know if you guys can hear text messages or not. Okay, so shoulda, coulda, woulda. Past tense, living in the past. And like, I think often in life there's things that we wish we did differently or happened different, but if you say, hey, like it's a learning experience and you just have like that self-compassion, makes it so much easier. Because you're like, yeah, I'm not perfect. Like one of the cognitive ones we go to a lot is core beliefs. So if your core belief is I have to be perfect, it's like an iceberg of like, what are the things that come out of it? It's like a really neat page I have in one of my flip charts I use. So if your core belief is I have to be perfect, then every time you're not perfect, you'll be upset. If your core belief is I do the best I can, and things don't work out, then you're kind of like, well, I did my best, right? And it's like a lot less stress. Or if, one of mine is, I don't have a clone, so there's more I want to do that I can do. So it's neat when you meet people that are like-minded, that are like, yeah, we can do this, you know, you're like, oh, nice, because I like being a therapist. I don't think talking on the phone's really my strength. I like listening, more than talking. But I do think, like, cognitive distortions really matter, and I think kids need to learn that just because they think something that's not true. I really want, like, this generation to be smarter than my generation. Because people start having these racing negative thoughts of what should have, could have been, or how they messed up, and they get stuck on them. And it's just like they're not noticing the cardinals or the birds, or, you know, my daughter notices the dewdrops on the, you know, on the grass blades, like, or flowers or leaves, like, you know, but they're just kind of like that. They have this negative thought loop, and it's exhausting, and it's, you know, if you really think it won't get better, what an awful thing to think. And depression, like, you know, I share publicly, like, I've dealt with it where your brain doesn't work well. I couldn't figure out how to photocopy. I couldn't, like, put sentences together. And another one with cognitive behavioral therapy is, like, I always like to rule out medical issues. So, if somebody's vitamin D deficient, they're going to feel lethargic and tired, most likely. there's a lot of medical issues and even dental issues that can like affect your mental health. And yeah, like, yeah, so I'm always like, therapists, mental health therapists, we deal with like thoughts, and sometimes we can like do breathing and work a little bit with body, but like really going to yoga and having some yoga people are mind body that aren't just like doing it as exercise, but do the guided meditations, and some therapists do as well. But we're more like thoughts. Like if there's something biologically going on, you need to go to a doctor. So I usually try to have that ruled out to make sure, like, get your blood work done, like, make sure all that's fine. Because I think one kind of distortion that's not really talked about is that we think we can control our thoughts and our actions. And I'm like, sometimes there's, like, medical things going on. And, like, I'm even on medicine for mental health. And I'm like, there's something medical going on. And no shame in it. Maybe shame if I didn't treat it, but... You know, and not everyone needs medicine at all. Like, I'm not an advocate for medicine. I'm kind of like, do everything in your tool belt. Learn more, you know, get some help to enhance your tool belt. But you don't have to, you know, rule it out as a potential coping skill. Yeah, even coping skills, there's like hundreds of them, which is fun because we actually have like the top 100 coping skills. But, for, you know, to rule out like medicine's not, to jump to it or rule it out. Sometimes I think it makes sense to jump to it if somebody's really suffering, and like, you know, the hospital often, if somebody's like suicidal or extremely depressed, the hospital usually does add medicine, but they encourage therapy and all that too. But yeah, so some people could say all medicine is bad because they had a bad side effect on one medicine. Or all therapy is bad because they had one bad therapist. Or all yoga is awful because they tried one yoga and they didn't like it. Or, I know, I talked to a gentleman at I think they were under half a house, but they answered the phone. They're like, try like 4 or 5. It was like for somebody else I was asking like information. But like try 4 or 5 like NA meetings to see if there's a group that's a good group. And I'd say the same with like mental health groups. Like try a few, like see if anything helps. And I'm very pro like it's a journey, so you don't have to. It's not gonna just like it's a continuous journey. Like while we're living, we're gonna be working on dealing with change because life changes, and you know we don't know our future, so things that we don't predict happen. You know. Woohoo! I'm done dishes. Am I? Yeah. Thank you.